All right, Raider Nation, we are live. Raiders AQ got held up, so I'm going to be doing it alone tonight. We're going to do a little bit of Q&A, talking about a few topics. Main thing being Genty or T-Mac. That's kind of the draft choice everybody wants us to look at. Then also we have the Andre James news and just some basic offseason talk. You know, we've been kind of slow in past Raiders the past week, so I'm going to let some comments pop up, let some people hop in, and then we'll get started. Raiders resistance. What's going on, man? All right. Let some people. All right. So we're getting comments on Instagram too. I already figured this would be what's going on with about T-Mac. I am not going to try to say his last name because I'm going to butcher it. But if you guys don't know, McMillan, he actually ran a sub 4.5 at his pro day at Arizona. Most people thought he was going to run a 4.5, 4.6, be a little bit slower than Evans. He is a big-bodied wide receiver. That's why a lot of people want him. I think his ceiling is Mike Evans. But for me, I watch a lot of Pac-12 football. That's kind of where I get my ML. A lot of Oregon, a lot of USC, a lot of other things like that. And I wasn't really big on him. He's the best wide receiver in a very weak class. So to me, I think about 500 to 600 of his yards came from 2 games. So he lit it up. Like one game he had like 250, other one he had over 300. And from that, I was like, that's almost half of your production in 2 games. And you played a lower level schools. You threw up a lot of big numbers, and you didn't really play high level competition or high level defensive backs. So to me, it seems like he'd be more of, I wouldn't say a slot guy, but a possession wide receiver. I really don't care what people do in the underwear Olympics. It shows if they have athleticism, if they're faster than they are in their feet than they are tape. So if a quarterback comes in and runs a 4.5 versus a 4.7, you're like, okay, that guy is a grade A athlete at the quarterback position. But Mac did run a 4.48, I believe it was, almost a 4.5. But on tape, he does look slower. He did have issues with explosiveness. He's a long strider, so he's kind of slow off the ball at times. Again, in pads and a helmet versus underwear, a little bit different. Then also there's a little bit of issues with him breaking bump and run coverage if he had a physical corner. He's very long, very lean. He is a big body wide receiver, but people would get into him and underneath his pads, and he would have some issues doing that. So to me, I was like, a little bit iffy at 6. I've seen him anywhere from the 4th or 5th best player all the way to the 15th. He's all over the board, as a lot of first round picks are in this draft. So I'm going to go through the comments. Shout out to Stone Raider. We do need a quarterback. We do wide receiver. We also need a running back. Cam Ward, we're not going to get. There's no chance in hell. We're not getting him. We all want him. He's set himself as quarterback 1. We're not cutting anywhere near him. What would you do if they traded up and got Sanders? I don't think we're really going to have to. It all depends what Cleveland and New York's going to do. We all know he's not going to Cleveland, so it depends what New York's going to do. If New York gets a quarterback, then Sanders might fall. If Sanders hits 6 and we pass him up, I think there's going to be a riot in a lot of Raider Nation because we're going to be pretty upset that we passed him up. T-Mac is the next Randy Moss. He's not as fast. So Randy Moss was the biggest and fastest guy on the field and can break coverage, could beat bump and run, can run past people, run routes, anything. Remember the one game Randy Moss had like 3 receptions for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. T-Mac's not that guy. I think he's going to be a very good possession wide receiver. I don't think he's going to break down the field a lot. If he does hit his cap of Mike Evans, is kind of what his comparable is to. That's an extremely good wide receiver 1. That's a top 10 wide receiver. But to me, he's less explosive than Mike Evans. Mike Evans knows how to use his body, box people out, and he can also break down the field. I don't know if T-Mac's at that point yet in his career. He might get there down the road. But with Geno Smith throwing to him, Geno Smith is very accurate. So, I mean, a lot of people aren't happy about Geno. He does turn the ball over. He does take a lot of sacks, scramble the sacks, things like that. Had a bad offensive line. But he is highly accurate, completing a lot of passes and throwing a very low level of inaccurate balls if you ever look at his advanced pass stats. Got my jersey, came out clean. What'd you order? I don't remember how many I sent out. I'm waiting for like the third order to come in. So people are messaging me. I'm just telling them they're coming in pretty slow. So T-Mac is Larry Fitzgerald at best. Yeah, but Larry Fitzgerald's the first ballot Hall of Famer. So why would you not want that? He's legit. Like, that's the man. So I would be okay if that's what he turns out to. But the problem is, I don't think that's what he's going to turn out. So the other portion of that is Ashton Genty. So myself, a running back, quarterback's best friend. You know, I hate to say it. A good running back is a quarterback's best friend. If we had a decent running game this year, AOC and Minshew would have done I wouldn't say very well. They would have done better. We'd have won more games, period. End of story. To me, a running back, even though you've seen a falling off, Saquon Barkley was the first all-pro Pro Bowl running back to win a Super Bowl since Marshawn Lynch did it with Seattle Seahawks. Again, even though the running back position has been devalued and it's running back by committee, you always have that number one guy that can get you 800 to 1,000 yards, most likely. So the running back position, to me, is more valuable than elite wide receiver. If you're going to have an elite running back versus an elite wide receiver, I'm taking the running back every day of the week because he's touching the ball 20 to 30 times a game. That's half of your offensive plays for a workhorse. Think about that. A wide receiver, Brock Bowers, for example, 6-7 receptions a game, which is elite, and he's going to get a lot of yardage. But the running back is going to break down the defenses. It's going to open up the play action. It's going to open up the flats. It's going to tire them out. It's going to eat possession time. Then on top of that, it's going to keep your defense off the field, so they're going to be fresh. People like Max Crosby coming off an injury. This year's running back is stacked, so that's why people are trying to lean towards T-Mac versus Genty, because you can draft a really good running back in the second round. Junkins, who, if we draft him with our second round pick, I'm going to be ecstatic. I think he's a first round talent. It's just the running back class is too stacked right now. So from there, we get Mac and Junkins. Our offense is pretty set. We still need to address the quarterback position for the future. But personally, we've had a wide receiver one. We've had a first ballot Hall of Famer in Adams. We've had elite wide receivers. We had Crabtree. Cooper's not elite, Crabtree's not elite, but we had top 10, top 15 wide receivers. Cooper, Crabtree. We had Hunter Renfrow have an amazing year. We've had Darren Waller have amazing years. And what did it get? Nothing. A lot of yards. So I think a running back has more of an impact on a game than a wide receiver does, and I stand by that decision. Well, I watch your stuff, man. You guys don't think I follow you guys. I follow you back. I watch your guys' videos. I try to respond to comments as much as I possibly can. All depends on my work day and what I'm doing. You'll notice if I'm swamped, like I respond later in the day. If I'm just digging around like an hour lunch, I go through and respond and like all my comments. So I try to be as interactive as I can. As far as free agency, I think we're just going to get depth rotational pieces. There's not going to be very much coming in and out. The free agent market's already tapped out. All the good players are gone. I mean, there's people like Dobbins is still left, a couple rotational guys. But other than that, there's not really going to be some starters. We're working on the linebacker from the Patriots. If you guys don't know who he is a very fast linebacker. He's kind of that hybrid position. He's big, but he still runs a 4.5 40, which is fast as shit for a linebacker. He's big, he's athletic, he's strong. You're kind of seeing what Pete Carroll's MO is at this point in time. He's getting people with a high RAS. If you don't know what a RAS score is, Google it. It's amazing. It shows an athleticism skill of a position player based on their combine or pro day results. So most of the defense players we sign have a RAS of 8 or 9 out of 10. Jack Jones is like a 3. That's why I'm only saying he's the odd man out, because you got Bennett, who runs a 4.3. You got Stokes, who runs a 4.3. You got Chin, who runs pretty fast. You got Paul Mahler, who runs fast, but is athletic and big, both those guys. So I really want us to get a steady cornerback. It kind of seems like we're creating the Legion of Boom 2.0. We're getting high-value picks at defensive positions, and they're going to coach them up. So Graham and Carroll are kind of cooking the defensive status. We still need a linebacker one, and we still need another cornerback. Those positions we need. We solidify those positions in the draft, or somebody like Tommy steps up, Devonshire steps up, Stokes steps up to be cornerback 2. I think we're going to have a really, really good defense. But there's a lot of what ifs right now. A lot of what ifs. There's a what if at linebacker 1 and 2, and there's a what if at cornerback 1. Our D line set. You're going to get some pass rushers. They're probably going to get some late round speedsters. that are good at pass rushing or have a couple moves and can be coached up, and those guys are going to be rotational guys then. T-Mac is the next Jerry Rice. So far, we compared him to Jerry Rice, Larry Fitzgerald, and Mike Evans, and the dude hasn't played a down of NFL football. Shout out to Raider Fool Chris. Geno's extension, I'd say 3 years, and most likely 3 years around the 120 million mark, with probably I'd say about 40% of that guaranteed. That's kind of been the MO what the NFL is doing right now. The quarterback position is grossly overpaid. The NFL has a union, the NFLPA. I don't know when they're going to come at a point in time. If you remember the Jamarcus issues and then Sam Bradford, we had the first round picks. The first round picks are regulated. So franchises aren't fucked when they sign somebody bad in their first round pick and own them $70 million. So I really hope they do that and follow the NBA model. If you didn't know, the NBA model has a max contract. So your team has first dibs on you. You can accept a little bit less, a year less, a little bit less money to go to another team. But there's a max positional value for your contract. I really hope the NFL does that by position, because some of these fucking contracts are getting absolutely insane. You're having teams like us that are going to get Geno Smith at $40 million when other elite quarterbacks are getting paid $45, $50. That $10 million right there is the difference between an all-pro and a 10 to 15 quarterback. That's not that much of the cap. So to me, they shouldn't be making that much. I really hope they start to regulate that a little bit. The NFLPA is going to fight that. I've been saying this for years because I think it'd be better for the NFL and more competitive to where the higher value players get paid accordingly, and you don't have somebody set the market like T. Higgins, who's getting paid a gross amount of money for being wide receiver too. What running back are we selecting? If we don't get Jitty in the first, we should get Judkins in the second. There's no doubt in my mind. Everybody's high on Cam. Cam is not going to be an everyday back. He's going to be a RB2 rotational guy. He may get 1,000 yards, but I see him as like the 500 to 600 yard short down back. His running style won't translate in the NFL for a lot of years, most likely, because he puts his head down and he runs, but he doesn't have the weight behind it. He's only 215. He's not 220, not 230 like a lot of power backs are. Take Najee, for instance. I think he's like 235, 240. That extra 20 pounds add up when you're a power runner. Agree on Judkins. I think Judkins and Toppins are pretty lights out. So if you guys I'm big on college football. If you ever know me, I love college football. I watch as many games as I can. To me, Judkins and Thompson, they remind me of Dobbins. Dobbins went to Ohio State. Extremely fast, extremely athletic, with the ball in his hands. He's lightning, just has injury problems. I've been saying since last year, I'm like, why don't we go get Dobkins and have him as a rotational back? He'll give you 12 to 14 games. You see how explosive he is. I think LA would be silly to let him walk. So I'm going to go through some of the comments real quick. Mac is the next Megatron. Tell me, man. I think everybody's that big on Team Mac. So, I have my analytics and I have my, feel my watch. I'm more familiar with Pac-12 teams and players than I am with anybody else. Those are the games I watch the most because I'm on the West Coast. They're on late at night. There's nothing else on Saturday night. That's what I watch. I'll put it on when I'm driving to Vegas during the season, or if it's an away game, I'll pop it on. I'll watch it at a bar, something like that, have it on my phone. So I watch a lot of those games, and they're the only ones on at that time, so it's really easy to watch, and it's where I'm from. So I do watch a lot of that. I saw Bo Nix live. I saw Dylan Gabriel live. To me, sometimes those players, when you see them live, you're like, man, this guy's probably not as good. Like, the tapes always show the highlights. They don't show all the shit in between. So, all right. So I'm going to get into something a little bit different. We're at the 15-minute mark right now. We got 100-something people in there right now. Right off the bat, Andre James and the fucking Chargers. The Chargers center last year did start their games. Andre James is a few years younger. He has been injury prone. He did lose his position to a rookie and JPJ. We kind of all saw that coming. But Andre James and the Chargers, they're going to run through him on defense. Wilkins and Butler are going to fucking annihilate him. Najee Harris is going to average 3 yards a carry if fucking James starts. He's a decent rotational player, but the thing is, we have better players now. JPJ obviously is better. Parnham's better. Meredith's probably going to perform better and is a little bit younger. or we might draft the guard in the 3rd round. So somebody like Tate Rutledge or the dude out of Ohio State, they're going to be better than what Andre James is. People forget Andre James was an undrafted free agent tackle from UCLA, played opposite of Colton Miller. So that's why you always saw him run around in games. Him and Colton Miller played together in college. They're both tackles. Andre James is a massive center. So he was never a true center. So that's why our offense seems a bit of a flow a little bit better, blocking better, because we have a true center now that can call out blitz packages and things like that. That's been doing it his entire career. So we saw that, but it was just kind of funny to see him over there. And I was like, God damn, really? That's what we got to do? We lost Adam. Adams goes to the Rams, which is the lesser of two evils. And then James goes to the Chargers today. So I'm going to open up, ask some questions. As far as free agency goes, let me know what you guys think. I think we're just going to be signing rotational places. We signed Worley, who's a rotational cornerback. It looks like we're going to have a huge battle for cornerback 2 and quarterback 3. Number 2 is going to be between Stokes and Jones. And then Jones is probably going to win beginning of the year. Then after that, Stokes might take over because of his pure athletic ability. He is used to covering wide receiver runs. Had a really good rookie year. Was hurt next 2 years after that and kind of had a rebound year ish with the Packers. So I think he needs to be coached up. Pure athletic ability. If you didn't watch him in college, him and Patrick Surtain were number 1 and 2 in the SEC. So he was the man in college. He was extremely good. Everybody thought he was going to be a first-team All-American. He didn't quite make that, but he was a first-team All-SEC. He was the second best cornerback in the SEC coming out of college. So I think there's some high hopes for him. As far as our safety positions, I see all these mock drafts. I do not think we're drafting a safety. We signed Chen. We upped Paul Miles' contract. He's making borderline starter money. I think we're investing in him because, again, he's 6'4", 220, and he can run. He can run and he can hit. So we got 2 big safeties in the back that are going to be playing center field that can play in the box, that can help with zone coverage. We're probably running a cover 2, cover 3 this year. I can see us running a lot less man because of Pete Carroll. Let's get some of the comments. Cam Ward, quarterback 1. We all know that. We all know it's quarterback 1. And I got a little bit, I would say a hot take, but my thought is the difference between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders is a bigger gap in the type of player they will be and what their talent level is than the gap between Sanders and Dart. I think Dart is closer to Sanders than Sanders is to Ward. Just based off athleticism, arm strength, things like that, body size. Dart has it. I could really see him being at the next level as a quarterback. It's going to take him a few years, most likely. Kind of reminds me of a smaller Josh Allen, he couldn't pass when he came in. He wasn't very good at turning the ball over, but you see the potential for being a playmaker. I think that's what Dart could be, but his floor is very low too as well. He could be a complete bust. So one of the things that I want to talk about, sorry, my phone's going off. That's pretty near and dear to me. I do expect the Raiders defense to be good this year. I really do. We do have some what ifs. We do have a little bit of question marks in our safety and cornerback position, but I expect them to play well. I think they will. It all depends what our cornerback does. Jack Jones gave up 10 touchdowns last year. That's why I don't think he'll start for the full season, because if he does give up a lot of touchdowns, he's going to get pulled. Pete Carroll and Graham aren't going to put up with that. They need an elite defense. And then on top of that, we got some questions at safety. Chin should perform well. He's a hard hitter, a box guy. All depends on Paul Maul. He's going to be the weakest defender on in our secondary, most likely. And the older guys are going to have to kind of pick him up and show him the ropes. He's going to learn on the job a lot, which is okay because he does have a lot of talent, a lot of speed. Came out of USC, so Pete Carroll's probably high on him. For me, the other big question is linebacker 1. So we did sign Roberts. If you've ever watched Roberts' film, the guy is nasty inside the box and run plays. He can't cover. I know Spillane couldn't cover as well, but he just doesn't cover because he can't. So they remove him on 3rd downs, on pass downs, and put him there in the box. He was Pittsburgh's linebacker 3, and he's probably going to be our linebacker 1 if we don't draft anybody. So it's a little bit sketchy at that point. So we'll see what he does. I really think we need to sign somebody. I'm big on Simmons. I think Simmons would be a great hybrid guy, a great box safety, a third safety, third quarterback in there, kind of help cover the flat, things like that on rundowns. He's big, he's fast, he's kind of a tweener. Nobody really knows what to do with him. If you never watched his tape, he's number 11 at Clemson, 6'4", 230 plus, and runs like a 4.4, 4.5 40, and he played linebacker. So he's kind of a tweener trying to find his position in the NFL, kind of like Stokes, trying to figure out what they're going to do with their career. So I really am high on him. I think somebody will pick him up, and if he gets good coaching, he has a chance to be good. The other news is all the Patriots signings of us. I want Josh McDaniels to leave us the fuck alone. They have Mac Hollins, they have Hooper, our tight end, and then they took 3 of our defensive players, Jason, Delane, and Epps. The Patriots have 5+ players that were on our team in Vegas. And think about it, 5 out of 54, that's a lot. And 3 of them are going to be defensive starters. Chaseon is probably one that hurt the most. He only got $5 million, but the thing is he got $5 million on a prove-it deal to start. He wasn't going to start with us. The Raiders have too much invested. And I think this has been a real issue. People were pretty upset with the Raiders for letting him walk. He was going to be the second rotational piece on our defensive line because we have too much invested in Wilson. We have a first-round pick. Then we have a 5th-year option. They're not ready to write him off. They have too much invested. They have a top 10 pick. They need him to pan out more than Chaseon does. So Chaseon looked at that and then went from there and said, hey, I can go to the Patriots and start. I have trusted myself. And it sucked because I'm like, man, that guy's so good at pass rush. I mean, you put him in and get 5 or 6 sacks for $5 million, call it a day. I hope we can get Jihad Campbell or Jalen Walker. Coupon John, I don't think that's going to happen. He's not going to overpay. I'm actually curious to see what our salary cap is now because I haven't been paying attention the past couple of days. I think we're in the $40 million range right now. Let me pull this up. No, we don't have $112 million. Yeah, we have $44 million right now, pending Gino's contract. I think it'll be okay. All right, gonna get some more of the comments. I'll be wrapping it up here in a few minutes. I just wanted to pop on, like I said, Q's occupied. He had something he had to do tonight, so I just want to pop on, talk to everybody, kind of keep it consistent in the off season. We are live every Tuesday at 8. I am trying to post every day, trying to keep everybody informed what's going on, because I know a lot of you don't have the time or access to things on the internet. We all have real lives. Also, I am going to Vegas tomorrow for a event, so I'm going to be flying in, have an event Thursday, and I'm coming back home. So I'm going to be with Baker and John, and then also Go Power Raider Steve. So stay tuned. I'm going to have some live footage from the stadium. Hopefully, let us record. We'll see what we can do, but we'll have some fun with that. Get some more of the comments. So we sold out. What's up, Rafi? How you doing, man? Robert A. Pat just said LOL. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not mad at that Cam Ward one. Go through my Instagram comments. So I have like 4 windows up for comments right now. Keeps me. Josh is going to be the GM for the Niners. I mean, I would run him in the fucking round. Are you talking Josh McDaniels? How you doing? Lovelock chapter in Texas. Oh, people talking shit. You should be GM fan. So the way I approach things, I watch film. I watch a lot of film. Football is my hobby. This is what I do for fun. The whole Instagram bullshit and X and all that stuff just kind of happened. Last year in the season, I was doing 10, 15 million views a month. For me, just going there and talking shit. I sit in the front row. I've sat in the front row for years. I've been to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games. I've been going since I was a kid. I love football. I played football. I was good at football. Played on, really good teams. Never got past the JC level. But I understand the concept, and I understand how to read plays. I understand the read coverages. I understand what they're trying to do. I did a video, and I explained what the difference between 11 and 12 mans were. We all thought Mayer was going to come in, and we're going to have a 12 set. I was breaking it down to people like, hey, this is a 12 set. This is a 10 set. This is what the difference are. This is why they run it, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, I use a lot of analytics. And there's and who else uses the analytics, and this is why I think it's really appropriate, is Bill Belichick. Belichick has guidelines for each type of position that he selects, and he selected over the years. And if they didn't meet his credentials, he wouldn't sign them. So, like, one of the things for cornerback that he kind of interviewed about corner would be 4'5", has to tackle, has to be able to run man, and has to be 6 foot. I believe it was 180. Anything below that, he didn't want them. And he said there was exceptions, but that was kind of my rule because that was the aura of what a player had to be. The NFL runs sabermetrics. If you guys aren't familiar with that in Oakland A's, they run sabermetrics on every single player. There's websites for it. They show you in what percentile the player ranks in every type of aspect: hand size, foot size, speed, 3-cone, bench press, whatever the case may be. And if those percentiles do not add up, there's a high chance that player does not pan out. So that's why they do it. They have to have a certain aspect and a certain, measurements and things like that, as you say. So one of the things you can actually look at and Google it, and there's been a lot of talk about it, is Campbell, the tackle from LSU. Scouts are worried because his arms are short for a tackle. He would have some of the shortest arms in the NFL as a tackle. That doesn't correlate well to a top 10 tackle. And they're already saying because of his arm size, he might have to move guard. Well, if you have to move a top 10 player to guard and he's not really a tackle, then he's not necessarily a top 10 guy. Doesn't mean it's not going to work. It just puts doubts, and it's their job. These guys are making 10, 20, $30 million a year, getting hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts. So if they get that, you're allowed to critique them. You analyze it, you look at film, you look at what they're good and bad at, and take a look at that. Andre James of the Chargers. I know it's a pain in the ass, but hey, at least it wasn't one of our good guys. Minshew went to the Chiefs too. I was like, fuck. This is what Raider fan and being a Raider fan is all about. Minshew to the Chiefs, that son of a bitch is going to play a game against us. They're going to throw him in on purpose for whatever fucking reason and have him throw a touchdown pass or do something and celebrate. Or if Mahomes gets hurt and he plays us, I swear to God, if we lose that motherfucker, I'm going to lose my shit. Because I just can't believe. I know we're paying him to play for KC. That's the problem too, is KC fans trying to talk shit. I'm like, Gardner Minshew's your backup. You better hope to fucking God Mahomes doesn't get hurt. Because without an elite running game, when he had Taylor, he ain't good. He can't run the ball without a run game, and without elite blocking, which Indy had when he was there, he's no good. Oh, man. So I'm just telling everybody, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. It really helps us out. We're almost at 700 subs on YouTube. Helps us get our word out. We are very big about giving back to the community. During the season, I do give away tickets. About 4 or 5 games a year. I give away preseason tickets, and I do a lot of free giveaways. Me and Q do that as well. Once we hit 1,000 subs, we are going to do something special. We're going to take a Raider fan to a game. So we're going to fly you out. We're going to have you sit front with us. Andrew sits right behind me, about 3-4 rows back. But we're going to fly you out. Go to the game with you, tailgate, have some fun. We really like to give back to that. So, if everybody didn't know, I'm a nurse, so I help people for a living. I like to give as back as much as I can during the season. Last year, I think I gave away like almost $10,000 worth of stuff. The income and stuff I generate from online, I try to give back as much as possible. I'd be happy if we drafted Georgia guards. Yeah, they're both good. The hair says Raider all day for me for Rutledge. I was like, that guy's a fucking Raider. Might take a year or 2 to develop, but he is really good. Had somewhat of a down year. That's why he's a 3rd-round pick. But the thing is, the inside line this year in the draft isn't really elite. There's a lot of just mid guys. So somebody like Tate might go a little bit early. The guard from Ohio State's probably going to go in the 2nd round. All right. So about 30 more seconds. We're going to wrap it up. I just want to say thank you for everybody. Just wanted to have a conversation with everybody. This is what our platforms are for. It's there to talk to everybody, give your opinions and feedback. That's what these platforms are for. They're for us to discuss the Raiders and talk ball. I like to hear opinions that are different than me, that are in mine about players. Like, I got chastised for not liking T-Mac. I'm like, no, I don't like the dude. I don't think he's going to be the top wide receiver in the league. So you guys have a podcast. If you guys want to hop on, all you can do is shoot a DM. I go through my DMs pretty much every other day, try to get through everything. I get a shit ton because of stories. people send me fire emojis and like claps and so those all go to my inbox. So I gotta go through them. And yes, I posted this on my X. I said, could you imagine JPJ and Rutledge next to each other? Our run blocking on the inside, because Rutledge is a right guard, would be fucking nasty. So that is one thing I want. I want him. I think he'd be a great Raider. If he's available in the third round, you take the dude and you throw him in there. I hate to say it, Meredith doesn't do well against elite defenders. He did good for his situational when he played, but I think he might need a little bit more development if he is going to be that number one guard guy. And Glaze needs more help next to him than what Meredith provides right now. So let's go Raiders. I'll be doing live tomorrow, hopping on and off. I'm going to be in Vegas, going to be doing some Raider events at the stadium. No, sorry, Thursday morning. I'll be doing the Raider events. So I'll be there at the stadium at Allegiant, going live there. Thank you all for tuning in. We love you guys. And let's go Raiders.